Apparently there is $17,000 in this box. In this week's episode of What's in the Box, brought to you by ZonGuru, we're gonna show you how a seller is able to fit so much money in such a small package. Let's do it. This week, in a brand new edition of What's in the Box, we're gonna be taking a look at a very exciting category. Why is it exciting? Well, because all the time here at ZonGuru, we talk about long-term sustainable growth on Amazon. How do you set yourself up for success in the long term? We're gonna be taking a look at a product and a brand that does exactly that. They've taken a product idea and expanded the idea to include a bunch of different products all within the same niche, so they're maximizing the revenue across a single idea. So what are we specifically looking for when we're really deep diving into a product niche? Well, it's a lot of things. It's how well does the seller brand? And that gets broken down into their photography, their packaging, the way that they set up their listing, their A+ content, and also how well they message to their customers. How well optimized is their listing copy? And then of course, all of the fun stuff around the unboxing and the experience of the product and the product itself. So we're gonna be taking a look at all of these things to see how a seller who seems like they really know what they're doing is able to build a brand around a simple idea. So what's the category this week? Well, it's an indoor herb garden set. And this is a cool one because it's a really simple product and the cost of goods sold is likely very low. It just includes one or more plants that you sell as seedlings, and then you package it up nicely, send it to your customer, and they do all the work actually growing the product. This is a fun product opportunity because it seems like sellers have actually had a fun time creating their listings. Almost every listing on page one seems to do at least their photography very well, but you also notice that the products themselves, the way that they're shot, the way that some of these products brand is exceptional, and you can tell that some sellers are putting some creative spins on their product to really stay out on page one. And as you probably know by now, if you follow our content, that is a clear answer to the question, why would somebody choose my product over the rest of the competition? And it's a really important one to ensure that your product is differentiated from the competition. So let's look at the numbers real quick, because this is where you always want to start when you're analyzing a product opportunity. We're going to be using ZonGuru's Chrome extension, which is going to tell us pretty much everything we need to know right at a glance. You can see here that I pulled up the Chrome extension and we see some really interesting things. And the niche score is sitting at 68%, which is quite good. And it takes into account really the four main things that you need to be paying attention to as a seller analyzing an opportunity. And that's the buyer demand. How often are people buying this product? 65% is quite good. And this gets taken into account the search volume as well as the sales velocity. Competition opportunity. How well seasoned are the sellers and how long have they been around? Sitting at 43%, that's bringing our average a little bit down, but it just means that this is a little bit more of a competitive category. Investment sweet spot, is this gonna be expensive to get into as a new seller? Sitting at $14,000 launch budget, 91% investment sweet spot, that is really good. That's right around where we wanna see that number. And then the revenue potential, how much money are we gonna be making on every single sale? Sitting at a $46, $47 average price per unit and a 30% margin, that's typically what you see on Amazon. We've got a really good revenue potential with this product opportunity. So really cool stuff. I'm just gonna go through the averages very quickly. As I'm sure you know, if you've used the Chrome extension, you're gonna see these numbers and your eyes are gonna light up. These are good numbers. We have almost 8,000 monthly searches, and we're gonna use the Keywords on Fire tool in a second to see what other search terms drive traffic to similar products. We have the average seller making over 500 monthly sales. Again, the price is almost $47 on average. We have, again, this plays into the competition opportunity, but a little bit high average reviews for sellers. We're gonna take a look and see if there's still some opportunity for us new sellers though in this space. And then 4.4 average rating, this just means that customers are pretty happy with the products. And then this is, of course, what we all wanna know. How much money is the average seller making in this category? Well, it's just over $36,000 a month on Amazon. I would have to imagine that this is a seasonal product, so I think that maybe certain times of year this could be higher or lower, so we'll take a look at that as well. So what I usually like to do at this point is I'll filter by revenue, and I just want to see, is the lion's share of the sales going to one or two sellers? Is there room towards the bottom? And as you can see here, the top sellers are making six figures, and then it goes to 81,000, 45,000. And then we have some really healthy revenue being generated even in the middle, and even towards the bottom, some of the sellers are still making right around the $5,000 mark. So there's a nice even spread of revenue, and it doesn't look like the top sellers are really crushing it, or that this is a very brand-centric product opportunity. Well, and as you can see here, I've filtered by reviews, and this is interesting, and this is why you want to reorder the columns inside of the Chrome extension. It looks like we're pulling in the same listing because they appear multiple times on this page. And this is for a book. It's not even for our product. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna deselect these and see how this changes the numbers. The next thing I like to do is just take a look at the revenue across the board. So I'll filter by revenue and see how are the top earners doing, and is there a nice spread of revenue so that a new seller can come in and compete on page one and actually make some money. It's pretty self-explanatory. So as you can see here, top sellers are making around the six-figure mark. One seller is even making $400,000. And then as we scroll down, pretty healthy sales with 81,000, 50,000, 45. And then even as we scroll down towards the bottom of page one, we still see sellers doing 5 figures a month, around the $10,000 mark. And then even further down on the page, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a single product on page one for sellers that only have 33, 21, 33, 24 reviews. So this is really, really good information to have, because what it's showing us is that these sellers are making money and they don't have a lot of reviews. So there's a lot of space even for the new sellers that are coming in. The next thing I'll do is I'll filter by reviews, because similarly, I want to just double check how the competition is. And if we see a lot of reviews up at the top and not a lot of reviews down at the bottom, this might also dissuade me from joining the category. And this is another reason why we do this and we start to reorder our columns, is we can see here that we have 4 listings that appear on this page for a product that doesn't fit with what we're looking at here. So it looks like it's a book called The Green Witch. We're gonna go ahead and deselect these because this is gonna change the numbers up at the top here. We wanna only see the products that actually apply to us in this case, at least in the very beginning phases of the research. So this actually is beneficial to us to take these listings out, because you can see that the average reviews go down, average price goes up a little bit, monthly sales and the monthly revenue don't really change. So it's good to know that even without these 4 listings, on average, sellers do quite well in this category. All right, so just in 2 minutes, we've discovered that this is a great product opportunity and the niche is enticing. So typically at this point, I'll maybe grab some of the products and move them over to SalesSpy so I can take a look at the seasonality of the product and better understand if these products only sell well during a particular time of year or if they're more year-round sellers. But I think before we do that, let's just take a look at the product that we went ahead and bought. This is a really cool one, and there's a lot of interesting things to talk about with this product. You can see here, I have the listing pulled up, and I mean, this seller does everything by the books really well. They have a beautiful hero image that really shows off everything that's in the package. The plant's fully grown, the little pucks that they give you with the seedlings, the packaging, it's all there. And then their very next picture is the perfect gift with a little bow wrapped around it. And I've already peeked at the seasonality of this product, and I'm gonna show you why they do this in their second image, because it's pretty important. And then finally, they do a couple things that are a little bit interesting. It looks like they do a 10% off promo, which I actually tried to redeem when purchasing the product, and the promo didn't go through. So that's a little bit of a problem for this seller and something that might take a little bit off of their rating from our perspective. And then some instructions about the product and some more information. And then finally, a really nice video. I watched this, it's about 1.5 minutes, and it actually was the thing that put me over the edge to purchasing this product as the example. So a really, really awesome video there. And then finally, great listing copy. We're gonna look at how well optimized it is in a moment, but you can tell here they're taking advantage of all of the typical things that you see in the bullets and title to ensure that their listing is, at least on the surface level, optimized. It all reads very well. They do have A+ content. You can see they really stress that this is a giftable item, and they call out, again, just more of the benefits that they already call out in their images. And then at the end here, you can see they stress their brand and a little slogan, growing made simple. So what I was curious about when looking at this product, because it seems like they've been at this for a while, they have other product lines, was how does this seller approach their Amazon storefront and build products around the idea of growing made simple through Garden Republic? And what I found was they don't sell one product, they sell a bunch of different products all in the same space. And this is really important. They sell the standard, this is called the Herbs in the Burbs set, which is a really clever name that I like. But then they also sell chili peppers, they sell seedling packs, they sell bonsai trees. They sell a bunch of other products that all fit in this space. And This is a perfect opportunity to go over and take a look at Sales Spy because I'm going to show you why this is important. I have all of their products pulled up here inside of Sales Spy so that we can take a look at the historical sales. And I've already totaled up these numbers, but take a look at this. Imagine you're a seller right now and you have 6 or 7 listings and they're doing 33,000, 6,000, 11,000, 47,000, 13,000, 30,000, 23,000, and 16,000. On a simple product idea, they probably started with one and built more variations around it. That's pretty awesome. You know, this seller does almost $200,000 a month selling this product line, and they do this by just selling seeds in a box, essentially, but they do it very well and they do everything right around that. So one thing I just want to do real quick, if you haven't seen this tool, Sales Spy is going to give you the historical sales for products so we can see how these sellers, so that we can see how this seller does year round. And I have the last 1 year selected, and I think we're going to get some insight here in a second around why they decide to stress in their images that this is a great giftable item. As I'm sure you guys are noticing with these sales graphs, well, it looks like they do really well in December and January. This is a product that is very giftable around Christmas time and so as you can see here, this is a great product that actually sells pretty well year round. Around the winter months, it does exceptional. So let's just go ahead and just to reiterate this point, you can see, you know, another seller, one of the seller's competitors also does the same thing. Big sales in December and January, and then pretty modest sales throughout the year otherwise. So just another important reason why to use Sales Spy. Okay, so before we unbox the package, let's just unbox the listing really quickly. We've already taken a look at the photography, which is great. They take advantage of video, and they have a nice EBC section that stresses their most important time of year, which is the winter months. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a look at how well optimized their listing copy is. And what this tool is gonna show us is which keywords are the top 25 sellers in this category converting sales on. In this list of keywords, we have 300 unique keywords. We've scanned 25 total competitors, and we have over $7 million in total revenue generated across the 300 keywords and nearing 500,000 total monthly searches across all these keywords as well. What I just want to show you guys is the power of this data before we take a look at how well optimized this listing is. You can see we have information like the dollars generated by the keywords, the search volume, how many daily sales are necessary to stay ranked on page 1 with the ZG launch column. This is a brand new one if you haven't seen it yet. We also have the average number of reviews that these sellers have and the average monthly sales on average on page 1 between the top 25 sellers for these keywords. This is unique to ZonGuru's keyword tool. And what this is gonna show you in one place is basically how competitive and how much demand is there for these keywords. You don't have to use multiple tools and go back and forth and guess at which keywords are the best because we're literally showing those for you right here. And then finally, we have the top 3 clicks and conversion rates over on the right side, which is gonna basically tell us, do the top 3 sellers share clicks and revenue with the rest of the sellers on page 1, or are these keywords we'd want to avoid? For this exercise, just so that we can see how well the seller is optimized from a keyword perspective, I'm gonna go ahead and move all of the keywords over to Listing Optimizer. So this is gonna move all 300 keywords over. So now we just need to grab the ASIN from the listing and we're gonna go back over to ZonGuru and we're going to import the listing copy. Couldn't be any easier. And you can see here on the left, we have all of the keywords from that keyword list, all 300 of them. We can see here that this seller is actually not optimized for as many keywords as you would expect. What I just did here is click Done Editing, and we're gonna just scroll through and see, now this seller does fairly well. It looks like they've targeted some keywords, but not others. I would imagine that they've probably used, well, it looks like under half of the total keywords that they probably could to drive additional sales and traffic to their listing. So what I'm looking for here is, I don't want to see too many of these blank spaces here, like indoor gardens. This is probably one that has over 1,000 monthly searches and isn't included even once in a broad or exact match. Same with in-home garden. These are just missed opportunities because they could begin to show up in more searches, begin to drive organic traffic off of those searches, and begin to rank on page 1 for those search terms. Same with home garden, indoor herb planter, countertop herb garden. Countertop, that's actually a really good opportunity because I've actually done a little bit of product research into this category, and there's all sorts of interesting other products in the same space that sellers might buy together, and that this product would fit perfectly within that space. So, it does look like the seller's not optimized as well as they could be, but it doesn't seem to be hurting them too much because this is still almost a $20,000 a month earner. All right, so now the fun part. Let's unbox this product and see what the seller does at an A+ level. All right, so first things first, let's take a look at the packaging. Really beautiful design, kind of a sustainable wooden box that I'm sure their buyers sometimes reuse for other purposes. It's very high quality and it actually smells like fresh wood, which is kind of nice. On the back, we have a sticker with some additional information about this product. They do some things that are a little bit maybe questionable outside of Amazon's terms of service, like include their website URL and links to socials and how to reach them. But overall, I think that they're doing some really good stuff here. It's really a fun experience to unbox this product. They have an insert with information about registering their seeds. I'm sure that this is a really clever way for them to just build an email list and market to their customers. It smells really nice. We also have all of the seeds. It looks like we have parsley, cilantro, basil, and thyme. That's really nice. And then an e-guide, which is going to take you through exactly how to build this product. And then the fun stuff, which is the actual seed pucks, a nice packaging to protect the product, and then these cool little branded burlap bags. So really nice, kind of a boutique experience unboxing this product. And they went the extra mile. Maybe they spent a little bit more with the wooden box and printing the logo on the side. But I think that it really pays to go the extra mile because they can list this product for $27 and get away with it. Also, I really like these. This is a fun little addition to this product. You can say, what was planted and then the date that it was sowed on so that you can track its growth over time. So really cool unboxing experience with this product. Okay, so we covered a lot in just those few minutes. We took a look at the niche itself and better understand if there's room for new sellers, which yes, there absolutely is. We took a look at one of the best looking products and how well they brand, how well they photograph their product, how well they package, and how well they write their listing copy. And then finally, we took a look at the seasonality of this product to better understand how we, as a seller in this space, would want to prepare ourselves. So what did we learn in this week's edition of What's in the Box? Well, we found a product opportunity that has room to grow. We found that new sellers can come into this space and still compete with even some pretty seasoned sellers, and that the average sellers do pretty well even towards the bottom of page one. So the niche itself is healthy. And we also learned from a seller that does something very specific extremely well, and that's sell a single product in this space and then build a product line around the idea and the niche itself. So they have other products that are floating within the search terms. So they're trying to gain revenue from as many of the search terms as possible. So whether you're selling herb garden set, or you're selling a bonsai tree set, or you're selling just the seed packets, this seller has managed to figure out a way to maximize and multiply their revenue. And they do a lot of things really well, and some things not so well. And this, as always, should really encourage you as a seller and somebody that watches this type of content, uses the ZonGuru platform, that you have a leg up, even as a complete new seller in a space, to outperform the sellers that are at the top of page one, generating 5 or 6 figures a month on Amazon. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you agree with this analysis? Let us know below in the comments, or if you have some comments, or if you want us to focus on something else or another product in one of our other series, let us know in the comments below. And if you don't already, make sure to follow us so that you are always in the know with what's happening on Amazon and within ZonGuru. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.